Yeah?
Let's speak French. Two foreigners, common ground. Will you sit?
I prefer standing.
Your hat?
I don't imagine I will be here long.
No, I mean, you are in the presence of a lady.
That remains to be seen.
Well, I hope you don't mind if I take mine off. Sit, please.
Am I under arrest?
Why do you ask?
I was leaving lunch at the Catalan for an appointment across the city. The moment I walked out of the cafe, I was accosted by two men in shapeless raincoats and told to go with them.
Were they police?
They did not say.
Then why think you have been arrested? Have you done something that would warrant arrest?
I am guilty of nothing.
Oh, we're all guilty of something, senor. It's just a matter of finding the appropriate law. I understand when they accosted you, you did not resist.
No.
If you don't resist, you'll never know.
Why have I been brought here, and under what authority?
My authority comes from the Ministry of Culture.
French or German?
What's the difference?
The difference is you are not French.
Berlin hopes to foster greater cultural cooperation between our nations during the time of this occupation. My name is Fisher. I'm an adjunct to the ministry. I have papers and identification, if that is useful.
No. Your manner precedes you. What do you want?
I have a few preliminary questions I must ask first. Sit, please. Please, sit. Would you like a glass of water?
I can survive a few minutes without water.
You have been interrogated before, senor.
By the occupation? Oh, yes. Every few weeks, a pair of Germans shows up at my studio to see if there are any Jews hiding in the kiln. Sometimes they look at my paintings, ask about the prices. But my work does not suit them. Germans, they want kittens and dogs. And Poland.
The Fuhrer paints, you know. He does landscapes.
Yes, yes. But he has problems with the borders.
Let's start with some facts. Age, date of birth.
This cannot be necessary.
Germans believe in documentation. Please. It is for a clerk back in Berlin. It is his life and soul.
59.
And the birth date?
October 25, 1881.
October 25, that's tomorrow.
Yes.
You'll be 60.
Numbers. A German talent.
Happy birthday, senor.
Thank you.
Have you any plans to celebrate?
May we go on?
Of course. Your current address?
7 Rue des Grands Augustins.
Married?
That is a very difficult question.
I believe they are only concerned in matters relating to next of kin. You have been married only once, yes? Olga Kolchova, the Russian dancer?
Very much a Russian, yes. A dancer, that's another matter. Diaghilev brought her over during the First War. She was the daughter of a general, very rich. Diaghilev preferred talented dancers, but if he could not get the ones with talent, he would take the ones with money.
When married?
I married Olga, or rather Olga married me, in 1917.
You weren't fighting in the war?
Spain was not at war with anyone.
But you had lived in France for 20 years.
Spain was not at war. We separated, Olga and I, in 1937.
Divorced?
I keep trying.
Children?
1, Paolo,
And where's your son now?
Switzerland.
You sent him there for his safety?
I sent him there to be committed. He robbed a jewelry store 2 years ago. The only way I could get him off was to plead his insanity. He's in a clinic in Bern now, smoking hashish and screwing the nurses.
And is Madame Picasso in Switzerland as well?
No. Olga has remained in Paris. If I could, I'd have her committed too. Olga really is crazy. Paolo's just a little prick.
You have another child, this one born out of wedlock, Maria de la Concepcion?
Maya, we call her.
So, Paolo and Maya. No other children?
Not that I know of.
Maya's mother is Marie-Therese Walter. She lives not far from you also.
On the Boulevard Henri IV.
And a mistress, Dora Maar, formerly Markovitz, a journalist, photographer, and publicist for surrealism. How does one publicize surrealism?
Exaggerate.
And she lives?
On the Rue des Savoies.
Oh, they have you surrounded. Political memberships, parties, organizations?
I am not a political man.
Last question.
Good.
Your dealer. Before he ran away at the start of the occupation in 1940, your dealer was Paul Rosenberg, the Jew.
His background is of little matter to me.
Before Rosenberg, your dealer was Daniel Henry Kahnweiler, also a Jew, also ran away, after which you transferred most of your funds to Switzerland. I hear these days you hide gold in the closet where your soap should be.
If you've spent any time in France, you know that soap is far more precious than gold.
And your current work. What are your most recent sales?
I have had no sales or exhibits since your June of 40.
Yes, but you paint, you draw, you sculpt.
I also eat and breathe and shit.
Good for you. Well, that's that then. Now, to the business at hand. And this is where we are hoping that you can help us, Senor. We need you to identify some subjects for us.
Ooh.
Oh, not people, Senor. We need you to identify some paintings. Authenticate them. Prove they were done by the person whose name appears in the corner. Prove they were done by Picasso.
These are mine.
All of these? Oh no, just 3. 3 portraits. As you are well aware, there are many forgers in the art world. Before the war, there was quite a flourishing market in frauds and fakes. Paris, Amsterdam, Geneva.
Not so much Berlin. Anyone can be a painter, but to be a fake, he's got to be good.
Well, the market in fake Picassos was never quite as strong as in some of the others.
Yeah, that is because some painters are easier to copy than others. When the Mona Lisa was stolen before the First War, the thief copied it a dozen times and sold it to any rich idiot he could find. There must have been 50 millionaires between New York and Shanghai with that woman hanging over their fireplaces.
Could you copy the Mona Lisa?
Oh, yes. you'd never recognize her.
I think I might. But that is not the type of forgery I mean. A famous painting, you don't forge that. You don't walk into someone else's study, look above the mantelpiece and say, why, how strange. You own Guernica too? No. You wouldn't copy Guernica. You would paint something in the style of Guernica. Impersonate the form and content, but not the actual picture itself. These could be Picasso's, but only you can tell us the truth.
Where did you get them?
Here, in the city.
Stolen?
Confiscated. Their owners abandoned them, fled.
Abandoned them?
Hard to believe, isn't it? The German army at their heels, and they leave their Picassos behind. No sense of priority.
But if you have them in hand and know who they belong to, what is my use to you?
Senor, we are planning an exhibition.
I have not been permitted to exhibit since the occupation.
Yes, well, things change.
Oh? My paintings alone?
Group show.
I do not do group shows. Who else is in the group?
Miro, Ernst, Clay.
Matisse?
No.
Good. I mean, Henri was never much good stuck in with the rest of us.
Senor, this is not yet for public knowledge. We wish the exhibition to be a surprise, and therefore do not wish to use any of the usual experts. They'd never keep quiet about it. But the artist himself.
I understand.
Good. Then you will do this for us.
Us. Us. No, I will not.
No is a word we Germans seldom hear these days.
Miss Fisher, you arrest me, march me halfway across Paris, and bring me down to this place. No, I will not help you.
I think, Senor, you will.
Oh, do you? Oh, yes? Why?
I have to walk out of here with a Picasso. You have to walk out of here. I did not ask your date of birth as a formality. You are not a French citizen here. You reside in France at the pleasure of the regime. Your papers expire on your birthday tomorrow. You could be sent to Spain, where I am sure Franco would welcome you, or you could be sent to Germany, where your tough Spanish torso could be put to work in various fields.
You would not risk the uproar. The Americans
The
alone.
Americans let Germany take Czechoslovakia, Poland, Belgium, and France. You think we take Picasso that breaks the camel's back? I have the authority to put you in prison for a very long time, senor, without paint or a brush.
You put Picasso where he cannot paint. You might as well put a bullet in my head.
Yes, well, there is that too.
I have an appointment across the city at 4 o'clock. I do not wish to be late. 3 portraits, you said. Who are they? Cocteau? Gertrude Stein?
You. Self-portraits. Or rather, they appear to be. Let's begin, shall we? Pencil sketch on paper, 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters. Simple wood frame, no matting. The subject appears to be a little boy, almost a baby. Very wide eyes, long curly hair.
Let me see.
Well?
1894.
There is no date on it.
It is 1894.
You would have been 12 years old. The face in the picture is a baby's.
What, you think I do this when I was a baby? I was 12. That's how I drew when I was 12.
It's very good.
I was always good. My critics say I draw like a child. But as a child, I drew like Raphael. It took me the rest of my life to learn to draw like a child. That is not pencil.
What is it? Chalk? Charcoal?
Matches. I love playing with fire. The fire burns, the flame goes out, the match tip is hot and black. You can get 6, 7 strokes before it breaks off. Problem is, sometimes a little red coal of fire is still alive in the tip, and whoosha! Your picture goes up in flames. Happened all the time when I was a boy. My father would shout, "Pablito, the devil is in your hands!"
Oh, your father taught you to paint.
No one taught me to paint. My father was an academic, classical painting, dead as marble. Me? I was painting hordes by the time I was 17, and so he was not so pleased with me. I don't understand, since it was he who took me to my first whorehouse. I guess a Spanish gentleman may fuck a whore. He just not may put her in his paintings.
You look very feminine in the picture. The face, the hair, the bonnet.
Well, when you are the only man in a house full of women, they get confused. Lace, long curls, dresses. Maybe that's why we become such bulls later.
But it is yours.
Oh, yes.
There can be no mistake.
No.
Very well. That's one. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? This, we believe, comes from later in your life, done in the immediate post-war period.
How can you tell?
Newspaper backing. The war is over.
Yes, well, that's me.
Yes, there aren't very many others who look like you. I suppose that's one of the few ways one could distinguish a Braque piece of cubism from a Picasso. Your self-portraits wouldn't be the same.
Don't be so sure. Whenever George looks in a mirror, he sees me staring back at him.
Is that how you did this one, with a mirror?
To get a good portrait, you have to use mirrors. You get a subject in a room to pose, they pose. They put on their best face because they can see you watching them. But angle a mirror at them, they don't see you looking. You trick them. You get a better portrait.
But you can't do that with yourself? Trick yourself?
No, you can. You just don't know it.
Am I right about the period?
Yes, after the war, 1919. You can tell by the hair. Less bohemian. I was very neat and clean in that period.
Interesting.
What?
Well, this. This smudge on your cheek, it looks like dirt, perhaps a bit of stubble. It's just odd for someone so clean and neat.
It is 1919.
Very well.
One more!
Yes, and this is the strange one.
Strange?
Not strange because of the picture itself. That has its own intrigues. But strange because of the way we found it. The other two came from collections. A banker was one. The other was a diamond importer. But this one was found outside Gestapo headquarters. Propped up against the door. Wrapped up like a book of pornography.
And no one saw it being dropped off?
No. But obviously it was left for us to find. It appears to be a study for something. No frame, no matting. The paper is irregular and the edges are uneven, as if it were torn from something. Given the circumstances, one can only assume that whoever left it wanted to get someone into trouble.
But what about this could get someone into trouble?
That's the mystery. Tell me what you see.
Me as a minotaur.
What else?
Women, 3 women, and the cross and the bow.
And that? One of the Gestapo officers thought it was a snake.
Do you think he is correct?
No. I think it's a penis. But to avoid an argument with the Gestapo, I agreed it was a snake. Do you see anything else there?
No.
What about that?
skull.
Yes. That's what I thought too. Would you say this drawing is recent?
Oh, no. This 3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years?
At least.
I only ask because the officer, he's in military intelligence, and so he's sensitive to codes and symbols. He thinks it's less than a year old, which would put it right after we took Paris.
What codes and symbols lead him to believe this?
It doesn't matter. You say it is older than that, and you should know. It is yours, yes?
It would appear so.
Could you tell me what you were after in this?
After? Huh. These are doodles. It is an accident, something I scribbled one day. It gets stuck to the back of a picture I consigned to Rosenberg. He unloads it without telling me. I have no record. And once the art is sold, it does not belong to me anymore.
That's sad, isn't it?
That's business.
Yes, well. That's that then.
We are done?
Finita.
Ah, good, good. Fine. Glad to have been of help. I can go?
Oh my, yes, such drama. The door out is not locked.
You did not tell me the date.
Pardon me?
The date of the exhibition.
Sometime in the next 3 weeks.
3 weeks? No. That is far too soon. Have you put up posters, sent out invitations?
The exhibition is private.
What kind of exhibition is private? Is it an auction?
There are no buyers. Those attending will be mostly occupation leaders, newsreel people, select journalists.
Well, am I invited?
I doubt you would wish to come.
Are other artists coming?
None you would approve of.
Who?
Derain.
Derain? Andre Derain? Andre, if you're German, I'll paint you a beer garden. If you're Russian, I'll paint you a tractor. Derain? Derain is a pig! Miss Fisher, where is this exhibition being held?
In the Tuileries. The pictures will be stored at the Jeu de Paume until then.
But the Jeu de Paume has been closed since you took Paris. It is a warehouse for... Oh.
Degenerate art.
This exhibition is not a celebration, is it?
It's a burning. Senor! Senor, please!
No, you will not burn my pictures!
You do not own these anymore! You said so yourself! They are not your pictures!
They are always my
You
pictures!
sold them! They were purchased by others. They now belong to the state.
That makes no difference. You have no right.
We have the right. We make the laws. If you sold a picture to a banker for $1 million and he burned it, it would be no different.
But why do you need a Picasso? You have a Miro, a Clay, an Ernst, a Leger. What Picasso?
You know as well as I, no collection is complete without a Picasso.
Who ordered this? Someone in Berlin? Not Fat Gary. The only paintings he steals, he puts on his bathroom wall so he can stare at them while he's pissing in the bowl.
It comes from Dr. Goebbels. Degenerate art has been a focus of the German cultural effort for many years now. There have been burnings before. In Berlin, Rome, Madrid.
Never in Paris.
Well, I suppose the French aren't first in everything, are they?
But what is degenerate about these? Little girl, a man with stubble of beard.
Pornography?
Oh, well, the Nazis love pornography. They just like to be able to recognize the cocks and the cunts. What did they tell you? Find whatever you can by Picasso, no matter the subject, no matter the context. What if I told you these were not my pictures? Would you still want to burn them?
Of course not.
Good! Then they're not mine!
Senor Picasso!
They are fakes, all three of them. Toy!
You have already authenticated these.
Show me what I signed. Show me where I signed something. An affidavit, a form.
You have verbally agreed.
Germans believe in documentation. You set fire to those pictures. I will disavow them. I will tell everyone they are fakes, and then who will look like a fool in the eyes of her Dr. Goebbels? I could find you a forger tomorrow who would swear to them just to get the publicity. And then, what would you have to say to your masters in Berlin?
Senor, I have been in Paris a year and a half dealing with cases like yours. Expressionists, surrealists, Dadaists, the whole sniggering circus. Some of you I give a warning. Some I let go. Lose a file, misplace an address. I have helped artists, senor. Perhaps too many. Too many, and they start to notice. If I do not get what my masters want today, I will not be here tomorrow, and you will be dealing with the men in the shapeless coats. They can't tell a Manet from a Magritte, but they know their way around a place like this. Now, I was ordered to come up with a Picasso.
A Picasso!
What?
A Picasso! You said it, I heard it. You need a Picasso. A means one. You have 3 times that.
Senor, do you think this gives me pleasure?
No, but it's starting to give me pleasure.
I will make a deal with you.
Good. Picasso likes these.
My assignment was to get a Picasso for the burning. I will release 2 of these pictures if you affirm that they are fakes.
Two conditions. One, I select the fakes.
And the second condition?
The fakes come home with me.
Berlin expects a call from me within the hour. Any trouble in here, and I call for the men who wait outside those doors and turn the interrogation over to their talents. Agreed?
Agreed. I will take that glass of water now. All right. We'll start with the little one, the boy picture. Obviously a fake.
That's it?
Yes.
I need more than that.
Why?
For my report, there must be a reason.
It is a fake. That is my reason.
Senor, try to think like a German. I need to be able to prove to them why it is demonstrably a fake.
Huh?
Give me a reason a critic would give.
Oh, first you want me to think like a German, now you want me to think like a critic. How stupid do you want me to be?
Analyze the picture as if you were a critic.
Then give me a blindfold. It is not a Picasso because it is sentimental.
Oh, Picasso is not sentimental.
No, and this is drenched in nostalgia. Look, the eyes, the curls, you said yourself. No 12-year-old boy looks like this. And why would Picasso draw himself in the past? Picasso is in the present. He looks to the future.
But a little boy.
I was never little. I was the firstborn, and I was born dead. No breath, My family wailed to see my face so blue. My first memory is of the sound of crying. My mother, my grandmother, aunts, like a funeral. When they saw that I had no life, they told my father to come in and say a prayer over my dead body. I could hear the Latin through the tears. My uncle, his brother, came into the room with him. He was smoking a big cigar. He looked down at me for a long moment. And then my uncle grabbed my body, sucked on his cigar, put his mouth to mine, and blew. All that smoke filling my lungs. I began to cough and cry and scream, but I was breathing. That smoke, it brought me back to life. Women's tears and men's smoke. My father always said it took heaven and hell to birth me, and he was right. Maybe that's why they pampered me, kept me in curls and bonnets and dresses. Little Pablito had everything but tits.
Pablito?
Pablito Ruiz. Ruiz. A stupid, dull name. Like Smith or Duval or Fisher. I got rid of it as soon as I could. I took my mother's name, Picasso. Pablo Picasso. Looks better in the corner of a painting. Sounds better when you walk into a room. My father, he always resented that. He'd say, "You are a Ruiz." I'd say, "So is half of Spain." When I was 8, my mother was with child again. Everyone was happy. At last, a brother for Pablito. But it was a girl, Maria de la Concepcion. So now everyone was very unhappy, but not me. The moment I saw her, I fell in love. She would look up at me while I painted. I would look down and say, "Conchita, I am going to be a great painter. My paints and my brushes, they are my arms and my eyes." And she would look up at me and say, "Yes, Pablo." Never Pablito. To her, I was always Pablo. But then, Conchita got sick. The women prayed, the men prayed, but their prayers were beggars' prayers. "Oh, God, pity her, God, save her, God." I knew even then that if there was a God, he was not like that. God does not respond to begging. He wants promises. He makes bargains. So, one night I crept into her room. She was sleeping. I could hear her little chest heave up and down. I went to her window, opened it, knelt at the ledge, clasped my hands, and closed my eyes like a good Catholic boy. "Please, God, listen to me. Oh, my sister Conchita is dying. Make her well. Make her live. If you do that, I will give up painting forever." The next morning, a miracle. She begins to get better. Her breathing, her face. My beloved sister is getting well. So I begin to pack up my paints and my brushes and my canvas and put them away. But I could not put them away. They were my arms and my eyes. I could not put them away. So I went to my own window, and I took back my bargain from God. The next morning, Conchita was dead. I went into her room to see her face, so cold and pale and still. Her hair was flat with her sweat. Oh, God. And so, I took a match, lit it, let it burn to my fingers, and then I began to draw. And I made her hair curly again. I gave her her favorite bonnet. And I opened her eyes. I pledged I would never show that drawing to anyone. I hid it in my room. But on the morning of the funeral, I found my father standing next to my bed, holding it in his hand. I was afraid. Did he know I had bargained my sister away? But all he said was, "I see you made a self-portrait." He thought it was me, like you did.
If all that is true, then how do you know this is a fake?
Because I destroyed that drawing the moment he left my room. I burned it with a match.
So we can certify the picture is a forgery.
May we go on to the next? What?
Your story.
You don't believe it?
I can. The little girl is sick. The boy makes a bargain. The boy takes it back. The little girl dies. Betrayal and guilt. And yet somehow, the way you tell it, it's the girl's fault.
It is always the woman's fault. You make us love you. You make us do horrible things.
I don't believe I've ever had that effect on anyone.
Well, perhaps that is because you have not met the right man, which is unfortunate.
Why?
Why? Because you are in Paris, the city of love, filled with men looking for women. You could get yourself a soldier. You could even get yourself an artist.
I've had an artist. It wasn't satisfactory.
In Paris?
Berlin.
Not the same thing.
He was a painter.
Was he any good?
No. Very avant-garde. Nothing ever looked like anything. He took me to his rooms and showed me his drawings.
And did you pose for him?
No.
If you want to make love to a woman, paint her portrait. Get her to reveal her breasts.
He asked, but I said we should go straight to bed. More efficient. It did not last long. Every time I would catch him in bed with some woman, he would give a speech. The artist can get away with whatever he likes, sleep with whomever he likes, all because he's an artist. I think he only became an artist so he could get away with things.
What is his name? Do I know him?
Oh, no.
Where is he now?
Dead? There was a show, a group show in 35. He begged to be a part of it, the notoriety. He hadn't had very much success. It was very political. They even issued a manifesto, which he signed in very big letters. He wanted to be noticed. He was noticed. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? The 1919? Did you set fire to this one as well?
No.
No, of course not. The sad eyes, the pose of regret, someone trying to be tragic.
I was not trying.
Oh, then this is not a fake. If this is not a fake, senor, then we can end this right now. A self-portrait from 1919, you in a mirror, a bit of stubble on your cheek. Is it real, senor?
I put it this way. I drew a picture like this, and a picture like this exists.
But this is not the picture.
This is the story of our critic. So let me tell it in the style a critic might. The boy painter, Picasso, left his native Spain and moves north to Paris, where he paints and starves and fucks. He sells some paintings here and there. He meets Gertrude Stein. He knows Gertrude Stein before she meets Alice. That is how long ago this is. He agrees to paint her portrait. God, it takes forever. And after her portrait is finished, she says to Picasso, I don't look like that. Picasso says to her, you will. And she does. Picasso is surviving in Paris, but he needs to make his mark, make his reputation, put himself above the rest. Enter Guillaume Apollinaire, a critic, brilliant, charming, Polish, a big Pole from Warsaw, queer, but in the snob hierarchy of Paris, he fits in. Picasso is not always so comfortable. To the world, he is becoming Picasso, but to himself, he is still a little bit Pablito Ruiz. Picasso invites him up to see his work, and it is like the beginning of a love affair. Picasso paints, Apollinaire writes about it. Apollinaire theorizes, Picasso makes it real. In and out of each other's rooms, arguing in cafes day and night, if Picasso can be said to have a second self, it is Apollinaire. Apollinaire loves Picasso. Loves Picasso so much he is his champion. But when Picasso finally becomes well known, Apollinaire has a tendency to tell people he discovered him. And there is always that resentment that the discovered has for the discoverer. He was always going around saying, I found you, I made you, fuck you, I made myself.
You're supposed to be speaking as a critic.
Yes. Third person superior. A few years later, Apollinaire and Picasso, they get into some trouble.
What kind of trouble?
A minor thing, a police matter. One of Apollinaire's boys, a smelly little creep trying too hard to ingratiate himself, gave us a couple of statuettes, little things for the mantel. Very good quality, actually. Problem was, they were stolen.
From?
The Louvre.
Ah.
The two friends are blameless, of course. Nonetheless, they are arrested, taken to jail, questioned. Apollinaire, he does not take it so well. When he leaves jail, his big Polish frame is wilted. His hair is yellow, his teeth have fallen out. You see, some men, they cannot take the pressure of prison. So the two friends meet, agree to have dinner, do the town like in the old days. But Apollinaire, he is tired. He will call on Picasso soon. So one morning, Picasso is shaving. There's a knock at the door. News. Apollinaire is dead. Picasso drops his razor into the wash basin. He stares into the mirror and sees this face staring back at him. He reaches down. There is always paper, a pencil, and he begins to draw what he sees. The grief, the loss, a little bit of stubble left on his chin. And then Picasso goes back to shaving.
What does one call a man who, on hearing of his dearest friend's death, draws his own portrait before he does anything else?
An artist.
So which is it, senor? Real or not?
This could not possibly be real. I put the original into Apollinaire's casket before he was buried. This is obviously a fake.
Well done.
Thank you.
When you and Apollinaire were arrested, how long were you in jail?
What is that you have there?
Police file. French authorities have been very accommodating. How long did you say you were incarcerated, senor?
Oh, well, it seemed forever.
Yes, but how long?
2 hours.
And Apollinaire? 6 weeks.
Understand this? Picasso was from Spain. He had never been in jail before. All he wanted to do was to get back to the studio and paint.
So you told them a few things about Apollinaire. His politics, his proclivities.
I told them nothing about Apollinaire that was not true.
But he had committed no crime. If it wasn't for Apollinaire.
If it wasn't for Apollinaire, Picasso would not have been in jail in the first place. Sitting in that cell, I wish we had never met.
Did you love Apollinaire?
Oh, you think like a woman.
Thank you.
No, you are sentimental like a woman.
Did you ever sleep with him?
Apollinaire may have wanted to fuck Picasso, but no one fucks Picasso.
Very well. 2 forgeries. That must mean, well, the third one must be authentic.
Let us not be too quick.
It is my process of elimination.
Please let us be thorough.
Senor.
Please indulge me. A beautiful woman. And such a sad old man.
Go ahead.
Thank you!
Senor Picasso!
I must be honest. You want to take this drawing and call it a Picasso? They will laugh at you.
Why?
If I were not here to do your work for you, what would you say of it? You ask me to be a critic? No, you be the critic. Tell me, Miss Fisher, what do you see?
You have already described it.
No, I want to hear it from you. You walk into a gallery. You see this on the wall, no name in the corner. Do you think it is Picasso? Is it in Picasso's style?
Picasso has many styles. He changes styles the way he changes women.
I never dig myself one hole too long. You walk into a reception. This confronts you. What do you say of it? All right. I will help you. Here. Pretend I am your blind friend. Your blind friend, Pablito. Oh. You can be my seeing eye dog. A German Shepherd. Very beautiful. Come, I will hold your leash.
I would start with a technical description. A drawing. Pencil on paper. No frame, no matting, no signature. The drawing depicts 3 women, a skull, a bull, and a man as a minotaur. The man is on a cross. Picasso at a crucifixion.
Why would Picasso draw himself on a cross? Picasso is not a religious man. Picasso is an atheist.
He is an atheist, but he's a Catholic one. He understands the power of the cross. The artist as martyr?
Martyr to what?
Women.
Picasso the bull, Picasso the minotaur, women die for him, he does not die for them.
It is how he sees himself, devoured by women.
And what clues tell you this?
Teeth. You always give your women very prominent teeth.
Maybe they are hungry.
Maybe they are starved.
So, a man who sees himself devoured by women, crucified on the cross of sex.
One interpretation.
Can there be another?
Political.
I told you, I am not a political man.
Ah, but senor, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, yes?
A saying to comfort ugly people.
Then how about meaning is in the eye of the critic? You say, the man is an artist, devoured by women, sacrificed to sex. But what if I say, it is a citizen, laid out by the state, attacked for his beliefs?
That is stupid interpretation.
Is it? But since the picture isn't yours, why bother to defend it? Besides, you're blind, Pablito. For example, the bull could be Spain, where the citizen comes from and cannot return.
Oh. And the cock.
Well, that is tricky, my blind friend. I wish you could see it because only you would be able to identify it.
Is it large?
Depends on what one is used to. My experience of late has been with sculpture.
Rodin spoils women forever.
Let us just say it is larger than his head.
Sounds like Picasso.
Sounds like any man. But since it is not attached, I would say it symbolizes the citizen impotent in the face of war and the enemy.
But the enemy could also be the women too, yes?
If one knew who the women were, let us assume that the first one is your wife, Olga, symbolizing Russia, but not Soviet Russia, White Russia, the Russia of the Tsars, embraced for its money, its bourgeois comforts, and then rejected. The strong-boned, apple-cheeked one is Marie Therese, mistress and mother of your daughter. I'm tempted to see her as Germany.
Why?
She looks very healthy.
And the third one, Dora?
Oh, is it Dora? I suppose you would recognize Dora even if the picture were a fake.
Dora cannot be faked. Most women devour men with their eyes, their mouths, their bodies. Dora devours with her mind. Do you know what it was like after Olga and Marie Therese? To meet a woman with real intellect, real hunger? Dora was my equal. It was a battle, and the fucking was great. You remind me of Dora. Tense, beautiful, so much more intelligent than a poor peasant boy from Andalusia.
So she was more than your equal.
Yes, but I had the trump.
What?
I am Picasso! So, to cut her down, I criticized her writing, her photographs, her ideas. I slept with her friends. I laughed at her clothes, her hair. So she changed clothes, friends, ideas, just to please me. And then I changed my mind again. If you want to tame someone, confuse them.
So what happened in the end? You talk about her in the past. She was this, she did that.
Yeah, she is still with me.
But you are not with her.
Hmm?
Look at her face. She's crying.
She looks like I have already abandoned her. I cut her down too much. She no longer interests me. I am looking now for someone else. It does not matter. For all you say in this picture, it doesn't matter. It means nothing.
Why not?
Oh, come. For all of its interpretive value, for all you say you find in it, is it good?
No.
No, it is not good. It is bad. Even a blind man can see that.
So?
So, this is a bad picture. Picasso cannot make bad picture. So this bad picture cannot be by Picasso.
Senor, we had a deal. All I need is one picture. You have made thousands.
Not thousands of these
What is
pictures.
so special about these pictures
That I made them! What you are asking me is if you tell me to give up one of my children.
And if I told you to give up one of your children?
I'd give you Paolo, no doubt about it.
No one wants these pictures. They're not worth it. I know better than you what their value is.
Do you? Because?
Because I have studied Picasso. I have written about Picasso. I am an expert in Picasso.
You are a critic!
Senor.
No! You are! I was joking about it before, but you are one. You are a critic. A critic has arrested Picasso! Oh, go ahead. Once they find you a critic, they won't listen to you. So, now I know you are a critic. Do you like my work?
I will not answer that question.
You don't like my
Of
work?
course I like your work.
You do?
Some.
Some.
Most.
Most could be this much more than half. What don't you like?
I am your interrogator, senor.
Is it the sex stuff?
No.
Women don't always like the sex stuff, or so they say.
I am not afraid of your adolescence.
The ballet period.
I liked the ballet.
Is it the sculpture?
I like the sculpture.
You do?
Yes.
Most of it or all of it?
All! I like all the sculpture, all the paintings, I like everything you do.
You do?
Yes!
Why?
Because you are Picasso! Because you are Picasso. I have loved you since the first time I saw your paintings on a wall.
In a museum?
In a home.
Whose home? A Jew's?
It was my home. My father was in the foreign ministry. He and my mother thought of our home as a type of salon for writers, poets, painters. Every Sunday, my mother would play the cello, and my father would accompany her on the piano for such gatherings. Our walls were filled with paintings. Matisse, Gross,
Clay, Leger, Miro.
Picasso. My parents loved Picassos.
Confiscated.
Purchased at astronomical prices through Kahnweiler and Rosenberg. My parents owned paintings from all the periods. Blue, Rose, Cubist, a few from when you were very young and painted the way one thought a painter should. Sometimes guests would look up at the wall. You had a wall all to yourself. They would think we had pictures from a dozen artists up there, but it was just one. You. They couldn't tell they were by the same hand, but I could. It was in the eyes. Your eyes. Men, women, even the animals. That's why your father thought Conchita was you. You gave her your eyes. I would gaze up at you and wonder, if Picasso painted me, would he give me his eyes? Perhaps that's why I became a critic. So I could look at Picassos all day long, and no one would know my motive.
You said your parents loved Picasso. What ended the affair?
People who came to our home on Sundays stopped admiring the pictures on the walls. They started staring, giving my parents odd looks. This was after 33, and so the Clays and the Legers, they all came down, and in their place went up kittens and dogs. The Picassos were the last to go. You were sold off one by one, the prices lower, some of them we had to give away. I said to my parents, give them to me. But they said no. It was not safe. From our windows, we could look down and see our neighbors fleeing. Furs on their backs, paintings under their arms. One woman we knew was arrested at the station with one piece of luggage. When they opened it, they found her mother's Bible, her father's shaving cup, and one very small Picasso. By this time, I was already writing for various publications, and so to be prudent whenever I wrote about you, I would disdain the odd picture, minor works, kept me safe and sane. A lover who cannot criticize is a slave. But once I had started to criticize you, I began to find more in you to dislike. And somehow, that made my writing more powerful, more vivid. I began to resent the way that you changed styles and broke the rules others had to obey. I attacked you whenever I had the chance. And that made important people notice. I was quoted and promoted, my opinion sought after by officials, assigned books to write, exhibitions to curate, and one day, when I had finished yet another piece damning you, I suddenly realized I did not love you anymore. I was no more your slave. I was free. My father had long been dismissed from the ministry. My mother was in and out of, well, they don't have our home anymore. Someone in the SS wanted it. They're only still alive because of who I am and what I do. And now I am here to do my job. And I find I am not the woman I have been.
Your masters in Berlin, they want me especially, don't they?
Of course.
Why?
You think Berlin cares about your art? You're lucky those stupid bastards even know you exist. If they know one picture by Picasso, it isn't one of these. If they could throw one painting onto the fire, which do you think they would choose?
I don't want to discuss this.
Don't you?
I am not a political man.
You know, this has always fascinated me about artists. You go on all the time how important your art is to culture, to the world, to the people. And yet when you get into trouble, I am not a political man.
This is not about Guernica.
Isn't it?
Miro did not paint Guernica. Max Ernst did not paint Guernica.
All the better for them. Why did you paint Guernica?
It was a commission.
I want the circumstances. I want the reason. Let me conjecture then. You run in certain circles, fashionable artists with fashionable politics, selling your art to the highest bidder, but always mocking those who buy. Always from the safety of your cafes and studios, of course.
What, do you think I paint something because some drunk in a cafe tells me to? All my life they come at me. Picasso, paint our protest. Picasso, paint a poster. I refuse them.
Why?
Because I will not put my name on bad art. The worst art in the world is political. Once you paint about politics, the painting is no longer about the painting. They came to me before the first war, the anarchists. Before this war, the communists. I do not join. I do not lend my name to causes. I don't ask anything of them. Why should they ask anything of me?
So nothing moves you.
Well, inspiration, anger. A woman.
Did a woman make you paint Guernica?
No.
Was it anger? The Germans destroy the most beautiful town in Spain. I imagine I would be angry at them forever.
I do not make a painting that attracts the Germans. I do not choose to send my allegiance to any country or ideology.
You chose to live in France over Spain, but you would not fight for France when it was at war.
Because I am Spanish.
Well, what did you ever do for Spain?
I painted Guernica! like to sit in Paris and watch your country at war? Your Spanish Republic fighting fascism and winning the fight. And on the other side, little Franco and his troop of gangsters stuck in the mud. And you think maybe this time the good will win. But then Franco makes a deal with his friend Hitler. Hitler wants to know how his new Air Force will do in battle. So he sends bombers down to Spain to erase a city, but not Madrid, not Barcelona, no. How about pretty little Guernica? So send the planes, drop the bombs, make it into a burning butcher's shop. 2 hours. 2 hours. And the town was gone. When we in Paris heard on the radio what had happened to Guernica, well, if you are a Spaniard in Paris, you will weep. If you are a soldier, you will fight. If you are a hero, you will die. And if you are a painter, you will paint. The mothers, the children, the screams, the horses, the noise. I am prouder of Guernica than of anything else I have done in my life. Did you see the painting?
Yes.
In Paris?
When it was on exhibition.
You were in Paris when it was on?
I came to Paris to see the painting.
Did you write about it?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I called it garbage.
That is what you said. But what do you think?
You're so charming. I have you arrested, I threaten you, and you want to know what I think about one of your paintings?
No, I do not care what you think! Ah!
I think it's a masterpiece. And what did it accomplish? Did it save a life? Did it stop the war? Who won in Spain? Who's winning now? There has never been a time in this world when art was worth less than it is at this moment. Art has no weight against politics, real politics. On the street, in the air, art is Schubert played while bombs fall. Bombs win.
Wars do not last forever.
For some they do! Oh, not for you, of course. For you, war is a temporary inconvenience. Anything that gets in the way of painting, family, friends, love. You know, I don't think you painted Guernica because you are political. I think you painted it because you're guilty. Conchita dies so you can paint. Apollinaire dies so you can paint. You feel guilty, so you look for absolution. Guernica is your absolution. A painting about politics, war, death, and long last you think, I will create a work that makes a statement, that makes a difference! But it makes no difference. All it is great.
I do not paint Guernica because I think it will save lives or stop a war. I paint Guernica only because I know it will be great painting. And when people gaze at it for its greatness, they will remember why it was painted.
Who will gaze at it? Who will be left? A delegation came to me before the war. They wanted my help to save the contents of their obscure museum. I asked them, why is it necessary to save these? And they said, these are who we are. And when the war is over, we will need them again to remember. They were willing to pay any amount to get them out. And so the paintings and the sculpture and all the rest went to London, and all the people who sent them died. What is the sense in preserving all of this when there won't be anyone left to see them? Senor, you could walk out of here right now. Those 3 pictures under your arms, a free man, never to be troubled again if you would do one thing.
What?
Sign a statement.
Oh.
That you were coerced into making Guernica, that you renounce it. You can say it has been misinterpreted. There's nothing in it after all that actually attacks the Germans. It is a portrait of victims, not perpetrators. No mention of who is at fault. All it would say is what you tell me over and over again. You are not a political man. All it would say is why you made Guernica.
But, Miss Fisher, I did not make Guernica. You did. So, for this, you will burn a little girl, a man with stubble of beard, a stew of bad ideas.
Is it?
What?
Is it just a stew?
Oh, yes.
You want to protect your work? Fine. You have feelings for the little child, the stubble? Fine. But the stew? Why? You say it is a bad picture.
Yes.
I agree. It is bad. So why protect a failure? What is the meaning there?
There is no meaning. It is scribbles. It should never have been seen.
Why? What is in this picture? We had a deal for a Picasso. You seem not to be able to make a choice, so I will do it for you.
Huh?
The little child? No, that would be too sad to see go up in flames. Might provoke the opposite reaction in our audience. The stubble? No, too pathetic, too obvious, and neither is really degenerate enough. But the stew? Yes. Obviously Picasso, obviously repellent, vulgar, pornographic. You said you did this 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
It's not possible. Look at it. Look at Dora.
What about Dora?
Oh, come, you've said it before. Say it again.
She looks like I have already abandoned
She
her.
looks like I have already abandoned her. How could you know you were going to leave Dora 3 or 4 years ago?
I don't understand.
Yes, you do. This picture is new.
What does it matter when I made it?
Oh, it matters very much. A man, you, on a cross, a bull, 3 women, the skull. You always give them teeth.
What?
Dora, Marie-Therese, Olga, even the skull has teeth. Cover them.
Huh?
Cover the teeth on the skull. Do it! What is it now? What is the skull now with the teeth covered? What does the skull look like?
It is a helmet.
What kind?
A German helmet.
A German helmet. You drew a picture that attacks the Germans during the occupation.
My picture does not attack
You
anyone!
can see it for what it is. Picasso's world. His life, his loves, his women, and in the center, death, a skull, the Germans.
I wish to be let go!
Yes, I'm sure you do.
No, you must understand. 3 nights ago, I am sitting in the Catalan, scribbling on the cafe paper. I see a woman across the room, Andre Derain's mistress. So I proposition her to get revenge on him, that pig. She says, Picasso, give me this picture. So I tear it off. I give it to her. We spend the night. And the next morning, Derain barges into my studio screaming, you think you get me? I get you. And the next morning, this ends up on your doorstep.
Well, then,
you doing?
You wanted your work to matter? Bravo! Now it matters.
This is not fair!
You refuse to live up to your end of the bargain. What else can I do? This is your last chance, senor. Choose a picture. Or I call Berlin and report your insult to the Reich. I need a Picasso. My life depends on it. Mine and those I love.
But why did you have to tell me you were going to burn them?
You deserve to know.
Oh, no. No. You need me to know. You want to make me your accomplice so you will not feel so guilty. That is how you work to make us part of your crime. You want to destroy me!
I want to save you. If I have to burn a Picasso to save Picasso, so be it.
But if you burn a Picasso, you burn Picasso!
Well, if more women knew that, there'd be bonfires in Paris every night. We are at an impasse, senor.
Oh, your face. It is so beautiful. I wish we had a mirror so you could see it. It is so full of pain, but so beautiful. So interesting.
Only a man could find a woman in pain interesting.
Don't move.
What?
Don't move. Don't change your face. I'm going to draw you.
Senor.
No. What? You turned down a portrait by Picasso? Sit still. Oh, yes. Oh, there is something about a woman's mouth. The curve above the lips. Oh, and the open just enough to show the tongue, but not the teeth. And the eyes, so sad, so beautiful, but trapped. Keep still, don't move. Yes. Oh, how shall I depict her? Shall I depict her as one of the angels? Or as a devourer? Shall I depict her as a cube? A giant? As a whore? Shall I paint you with bars behind you? Huh? You are in prison now. We all are, you know. Now. Well, lines at least. Perhaps you will see the lines as rain. However you see the lines, they will not be cheerful, for you are not cheerful. No. But you are oh so sad. Oh, so beautiful. There. Picasso has drawn your portrait. Consider yourself made love. Yes, it is, isn't it? Here, let me sign it for you. There. There. Now what do you have there?
I have a Picasso.
Good. Because that one is real. The other three are fakes.
What?
Yes. Throw that one on your bonfire. You can attest to its authenticity yourself. You saw it being made.
You tricked me.
Oh, don't be too sad. Don't be too sad. You were assigned to get a Picasso. A Picasso. Well, you got one. And such a fresh one, too. I made it just surreal enough so none of your colleagues will recognize you. Well, Except for the fellow who likes codes and symbols, I'd keep it away from him. There, now give it a title. No. Don't, I will. I hate the titles other people place on my pictures. We will call this one, Woman Between the Lines. The kind of title that gives work to biographers. Keep them busy for years. Particularly mysterious, since this painting will exist no more. Only you will know. And when you watch the flames engulf it, remember one thing. At least I didn't give you teeth! So, we are finished. I'm free. I can go. I have an appointment, you know, across the city at the home of
Yes, I know. Your new mistress. Don't worry. No one cares who Picasso fucks.
Huh? Sometimes, not even Picasso. Yes. You know, perhaps I will just skip my appointment, go straight back to my studio and work. Yes, I will let her wait. Oh, I will let her wait. Ah! That is Picasso's kind of woman. Sit!
What?
Sit! I draw you again! Sit!
Picasso.
No, that fire, that spit, I must have it!
No, I must have it, or I will not survive!
Of course you must. You must, and you will, and this time you will keep it. Sit! Put hat on! Keep your head up, mouth open just a little.
You're going to give me teeth this time, aren't you?
We'll see. I'm starting a little lower than that. Unbutton your jacket. All right, now the next.
1.
More!
No!
It is vital! There.
Satisfied?
Never.
One thing we must be firm about. I will not reveal my breasts. Agreed?
Agreed.
Good.
But I will draw them anyway.